In this episode, we talk about how to select competitions in the new CrossFit Sanctioned event season format. Rux Rope asks, how would you choose to compete in the season? My assumption with this question is that he's asking if I'm working with an athlete, how do I go through the process in the new CrossFit Games qualifier sanctioned events format of isolating what the competitions are that we're actually trying to go to secure a spot to the CrossFit Games. The truth is that this has been kind of a frustrating process. There is no rule book yet, so we don't exactly know like all the details of like if somebody goes to an event and they win and somebody takes second, then somebody goes to another event and that same person wins. Does the second place finisher of the first competition or the second competition get their bid to the games? So little questions like that make it really difficult to create like an optimal strategy. Now, and then also there's different competitions standards for different competitions. So some qualifiers are multiple weeks, some are 10 days, the open is 5 weeks, and that imposes very different stressors on the body, which makes it very difficult to say, okay, we'll do this one, we'll do this one. Some of the dates aren't out yet, but the process that I've been going to is taking a calendar and laying out all the actual competition qualifier dates, and then putting the actual dates of the competition, the in-person competitions into a calendar. Then sitting down with an athlete and basically saying, all right, where's your health right now? How do you feel about competing here? What's the prize money that they've listed for this specific competition? And is that appealing enough to offset the travel costs to get to this competition? What's the qualifier structure? How many workouts is it going to be? What's that going to do to your body? There's a qualifier that's, 5 days after this qualifier. You're going to be ready to be able to do those back to back. And just basically going through an inquiry process to understand what makes sense for this athlete with the given information that we do have. And then every time that we get new information, we put that into our calendar or into our decision-making process, and we're kind of taking it a step at a time. So with somebody like Travis, first competition that came out as a sanctioned event was Dubai. Dubai was a great experience for Travis last year. He took second. So his thought process was like, all right, I'm going to Dubai. We knew that the next sanctioned event after that was going to be Wodapalooza. I think that's changed now and there might be one in between. But the timetable to try to go from Dubai and then re-peak and get ready for a competition that's less than a month later, it's going to be super difficult. So we say, all right, we're going to go to Dubai and then just sit down and reevaluate after that. So Travis's plan is basically only ran up through the Dubai qualification competition. Then for somebody like Noah, he knew that he wasn't ready, didn't want to compete at Dubai, and that the next competition was Wodapalooza. Wodapalooza, he moved back home. It's in his hometown. He's won it 3 times. It's a really positive experience to have emotionally to try to go and take the second sanctioned event qualification spot. It should be, very low travel costs, a pretty easy environment for him to be able to compete relative to potentially going to South Africa or China or one of these other foreign countries that he's never been to before. So again, same type of process that we isolated. All right, this is the competition that we're going to try to go to get the bid. But after that, we're going to have to sit down and basically make our strategy dependent upon how it goes. If he wins and he has a spot, then the selection of competitions after that is dependent upon different things. If he doesn't, and then we have to actually select a competition for a spot, then that conversation is different. We know we have the open that's mixed in there that's 5 weeks long, and we have to really just go through some sort of a deductive process to figure out what is the best strategy to try to get a spot to the games, set you up for your career, and also not just get a spot to the games, but allow you to be in optimal shape by the time the games comes. Because if you're going to these competitions and find out, oh wow, there's a great prize purse here, there's a great prize purse here, there's a great prize purse here, and you end up doing 5 sanctioned events throughout the course of the year before the games, your body might not be in physical shape to compete. So it is just a process of continually taking the information that's coming out, talking to the athlete, and then allowing them to make professional decisions. Now, if I'm stepping outside of professional athletes, because a huge portion of our business, and I think every business in the CrossFit sport training sphere, their business is about amateur competitors, people that just love to compete and are striving to get to the highest level but aren't actually there. What you see is like the 1% of the media of professional athletes. But outside of that, I think making a selection for one of the competitions for you to do, if it was before, okay, we had a team and we wanted to get to regionals, then it's a matter of doing your due diligence about going through these actual competitions and finding out what they're all about. So I know the Mid-Atlantic Throwdown or the Mid-Atlantic Qualifier, that's a sanctioned event, used to be only a team event. Now that they're trying to maintain that as they go into a more competitive, giving the individual games bid and the team games bid. So that might be a good competition to go to if your focus is from a team perspective. Wodapalooza was something that had a ton of different divisions and a ton of different people, and it was marketed as a festival to bring people together all about fitness. So maybe that has the divisions that make sense for you. So going through an appropriate research process to figure out which competitions are going to set you up for success. And what are the qualifier standards? How are you going to get in? Do your goals match up with what they're actually trying to put on as a competition? And when you go through that process, you can start to isolate, all right, in this new landscape, the old landscape, I kind of had an understanding of what I wanted to do as an athlete, what I wanted to accomplish, and now that's kind of eroded. But in this new landscape, there's a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different styles of competitions. There's a lot of potential cool travel involved, so potentially people can weave their vacation time into their competition time. But there's going to be some sort of upfront due diligence process to figure that out. And that's the process that I'm going through with my athletes. And hopefully by sharing that, you can start to go through that process for yourself and start to figure out what's the best way for you to approach this new sport landscape in a way that fulfills you and makes you better as an athlete long term. When I created Training Think Tank, I wanted it to be just that, a think tank, a group of people that gets together and challenges each other's ideas on training. So what you watch in this video is one coach's beliefs. The other coaches and myself may or may not agree with what was said, but we're okay with that because we want to facilitate a discussion about training in the market.